In the public eye, former Chief Justice Sek Keong is known for his contributions to Singapore's legal system. But to his family and friends, he is a gentle, soft-spoken man who leads a simple and frugal life. After 26 years of public service, Mr. Chan retired on November 6th and was appointed by the Law Society of Singapore as its 13th honorary member.
During his tenure as Judicial Commissioner, Judge, and then Chief Justice, Mr. Chan delivered hundreds of written judgments dealing with a very wide spectrum of issues. However, in recent months, he has produced two seminal decisions well worth mentioning, one pronouncing that legal powers, even constitutional powers, have limits, and the other holding that the Court of Appeal has inherent jurisdiction to re-examine cases in which it might earlier have come to a conclusion which was in breach of the laws of natural justice, the rules of natural justice.
Paying tribute to Mr. Chan at the Law Society Dinner and Dance 2012, Mr. Grimberg said that Mr. Chan was a firm believer in building constructive relationships with law practitioners.
The chief, as he then was, staunchly supported the work and mission of the Law Society and the bar in general. Shortly following his appointment, he stated in an interview that, and I quote, "When the legal profession has problems, I want to understand what they are and see how I can contribute to the solution." A typically constructive approach to his relationship with practitioners, and one that endured throughout his tenure.
Mr. Grimberg recounts his experience facing Mr. Chan in court.
To the rest of my recollection, only once in my career at the bar did I appear in a case in which Mr. Chan was on the other side. This was a constitutional case, the only one which has ever come before the Constitutional Tribunal. The issue was whether the President of Singapore, for whom I appeared with the then Mr. Walter Woon, has the power to withhold his assent to a bill seeking to amend his own prerogatives. I offered, as usual, a fairly inconsequential opening and left it to Mr. Woon to make the substantive submission. Walter launched into a highly cerebral peroration, which I barely understood, following which Mr. Chan performed his usual demolition job and we lost.
Apart from law, Mr. Chan also has an extraordinary love for reading.
Once a few years ago, I was at a beach resort in Malaysia with my family. By coincidence, the Chans were there too. One might have expected the chief to be frolicking, well, perhaps not frolicking, but more likely strolling on the beach. On the contrary, he was to be seen daily, sitting under a tree, reading. I tried hard but failed to discern whether the book he had on his lap was a law journal or the work of one of the great philosophers, for philosophy is among Mr. Chan's varied interests.
More than 400 lawyers attended the Law Society Dinner and Dance 2012 on Friday. For more on Mr. Sek Keong's speech, watch our other clips.